can see the silhouette of several items, some bric-a-brac, laden upon the wall at the far end. Other than that, actually, you know what? We'll even throw that at the far wall. There just seems to be some random accoutrement that you can see against the walls. Otherwise,
critters, no
critters, no
sounds
movement, no
things,
sounds. The
no
place
smells
is eerily
of
quiet. Yeah, no,
kobolds
it
or...
smells of must and dust.
Okay.
So.
Alright.
Sorry, I should say you've still got the same thick sense of the perversion of nature, etc., etc. Down here, you can see more of the effect to be undeath. Excuse me, a more necrotic influence.
Is there any easily noticeable runic or any languages on the walls?
I'm glad you asked, actually. As you walk in here and you look around, throw me... What's your passive perception?
14.
It's 14. Throw me perception as you're asking about it.
So 14 plus 9, what?
14 plus 9.
Is that the way it goes?
Not really, no.
No, it's 9
You rolled a
plus
d12.
4.
Oh. Oops. That's why. I'm like, wait a second, there's something wrong with this picture. Thank you.
Okay,
Again, 9.
And then add 4
So
to
9 plus 4
Okay.
is going to be actually 13 in this case. As you stare up at the ceiling, you can somewhat make out the appearance of rings of sigils, and more to the point, you can see handles situated in the ceiling.
Like big enough for dragons handles, or like just normal, like human-sized handles?
Well, they're large. Actually, you know what? They don't even look like handles. You know what they look like? They look like this sticking out of the ceiling, but not with the shovel part of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess kind of handle-like.
Yeah.
They just look like sticks sticking out of the ceiling.
Okay.
At a distance in the darkness. Because that would make more sense.
Having Fireball as a cantrip, I cast Fireball to shed some light upon the subject.
Firebolt.
Firebolt. So thank
You gonna
you.
fire a firebolt into there?
Yeah, straight at the ceiling, in the middle.
So firing a firebolt away, give me an attack roll. It was a...
Mm-hmm.
It's
4.
a terrible shot that goes flying astray, striking against absolutely nothing in the far distant, the far distant wall. You completely miss everything. In the brief moment of illumination, you do see that on the platform there sits a pair of chests as well.
Oh gee.
I nudge the cat. Oh wait, she's not moving.
Alright, well she'll respond when she's back in her seat, I guess.
Go ahead and steal her block of ice.
I start crunching on the ice. The Velociraptor chews on a nice big hunk and and then all of a sudden just stops and goes.
It just gets the brain things of the gods, no doubt. Not to mention there's a trail of crushed ice and wetness that's following you guys
Are we
now.
not concerned that a Velociraptor is following us, by the way?
You saw me
just-
change into
it just
I know,
seems
but
to
we've
be
never
the
seen a
contention.
Velociraptor before.
Every time we're encountering a druid, it just seems to be the
druids are
contention.
fucking weird.
We
know
just
this.
accept that they
What
can
is that?
turn into anything.
What kind of beast is that? Do we even know what dinosaurs are?
No.
Just
we
go
don't-
through it.
we don't
Well,
know
I'm just gonna say though,
You're a
like,
spawn of Satan.
so far you've turned into a big velociraptor, as well as a giant spider, as well as
A bear.
like a bear. Now a bear, you would see a bear here in the mountains. You've encountered a bear. You've seen bears.
Okay.
A giant spider, I can let that go. You've absolutely seen those. I mean, why not? You've explored some pretty shitty places, dark places. You're a druid. You've been some pretty crazy
We
places.
literally walked in front of one. Then he turned into the clone of it.
So example
Yeah.
being, right? But the Velociraptor is like, where would you have encountered that, right? So that's where it becomes, because literally in the spell description it'll say that you have to have seen this before.
No, it doesn't. That's an additional rule. That's an optional rule. If you want to do that, you have to tell me what I can and can't turn into.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
But
So
in shape change, you
I
can
thought it was
choose
actually
any
a
beast.
rule rule, but okay. So
No, it's an
regardless-
additional rule from Unearthed Arcana.
is it?
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
you can turn into any
I'll take your
animal
word.
that's a natural beast.
Either way, that is the way that I play that.
That's fine.
There's a
It's
moat
just so you
somewhere
know.
with just dinosaurs on it. And
So
he's
yeah, as far as anything goes, I'm gonna say that this
Here.
is something you've studied at length yourself.
I'm a bear now.
Jurassic moat.
I'm okay with you going with this.
I'll be a bear for you. Just make it easy.
All right, that's cool.
Then just tell me what I can and can't turn into.
Well, like I said, if you can rationalize having encountered it, and
I don't know your world, so I wouldn't.
I was
be
gonna
able
say
to,
I can be
to
loose
say.
with it, and more to the point, if you're wondering where you encountered Calabshan, but then would you ever have been to Calabshan? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, wait a minute. Your parents traveled. They went to like Waterdeep and shit. So yeah, it could work.
It's okay.
In any event, so
Polar
this
bear
is
works, or cave bear in this instance.
Can druids turn into animals that other druids have turned into?
they can turn into creatures that they're like Gao from Final Fantasy III.
Well, I'm just
Encounter it,
saying,
turn
like,
into it.
if one druid turned into a velociraptor and another druid saw that, would that druid be able to turn into that one?
Especially at
I
like a
didn't
circle.
disable that.
Why not?
Because they're essentially the animal.
Yeah.
I shut that off.
We just need to show you a T-Rex, and then we're good.
Any beast that you have seen before. So I assume that would be, most of the beasts. But if a velociraptor is not on that list, then that's fine.
Well, you gotta realize all I'm saying here is that if you can rationalize having seen it, then I'm good with it. But that's my ultimate point. That's all it is. Being in it. Where were we then? Okay, so you fired a firebolt into the distance. There's 2 doors there. You can see the silhouette of. There's a bunch of bric-a-brac over there. Thusly, the whole place is silent, dead. It's more or less a tomb. You see a bunch of spikes sticking out of the ceiling up ahead over that platform, and you see that the floor is laden with the same sort of gemstone pattern as up top. But it is where this pattern is. The pattern is actually... So there's rows of the stars here, and then there's the pattern of stars here on the floor. So that's how the place is illuminated. You have rows of the stars, and then the pattern of the stars.
So if I was a white dragon who was just in this cave, where would I have come from?
Behind the mural.
Can I roll investigation for that?
Sure,
Okay. Can I fail investigation for that?
sure.
Okay. 17.
Okay, taking the moment to observe this chamber, the stairwell as big as it is, the hallways and what, you imagine that if the dragon were to roam, he wouldn't have much place to roam at all. But more to the point, you're not convinced that the dragon really lived here.
He said it was his, and he was inside, and no one has seen him initially, so...
There is a giant white dragon statue.
Right.
That had a phylactery in its ass
Yeah.
that you took out and broke.
Yeah.
With sigils on the front that literally in Draconic were the keywords to resurrecting the fucking dragon. Which you insightfully knew, hence why you didn't say the Klaatu Barakta out loud. Which actually was the disabling code, so never mind.
I wouldn't have known that either way, so...
Well, someone who hasn't studied, of course they wouldn't know that. No, I'm kidding. It's all good.
So there's no evidence around us that the dragon was here for a reasonable length of time?
No, there's no evidence that there was a dragon living in this place.
Moving around in this place, knocking stuff over, crushing stuff.
You said
Nothing.
there were
Nothing to even do.
footprints going that way last week.
Oh, fair enough. I did, actually. And yes, there are dusty footprints that make their way... Sorry, did I say down or up?
They were coming
Left.
up the stairs.
Because
Up the
because
stairs.
at the very
From
end
left.
of the night we decided to go left because that's where the dragon came from.
That's fine, yeah. No, that's all good.
Yeah.
I'm still at the statue, by the way.
Okay.
So leave it behind, dude.
I don't understand this puzzle. I don't get it.
Okay.
Senorita Thief, there are 2 chests on the dais in front of us.
Not for the stealth roll. 21.
Do you need moral support?
No, I'm just making sure. Okay, I'm gonna slowly and stealthily.
The animals
move
have
up
to stick together, so.
Absolutely.
here. I want to investigate the place these things are spawned. Really.
Okay.
The platform.
Oh, does the loot respawn?
How do you mean?
Does the loot respawn?
Oh, what?
13.
So,
A
with-
13 perception check on the.
okay, at a one sober glance, the dais seems safe. You don't notice any raised or lowered sections. There,
Quarterstaffs.
the whole of it is more or less a flat chunk of granite that's been cut and smoothed. And then the pattern of the stars, similar to the pattern that you noted in the ceiling above, sits pipped into the surface of the dais.
Before you go, I give you guidance.
What does guidance do?
An extra d4 on top of the skill roll.
So I'm gonna investigate the chest and check it for traps.
Okay.
And I'm expecting to find more ice. What is this? I keep forgetting what I use when I'm Is that investigation?
Investigation.
Okay, so 21.
Add a d4 to it.
D4. Yay, ones, but still 22.
Alright. As you investigate upon the chest, you notice that this one has a bit of an odd locking mechanism appearing on the front of it. Rather than the traditional padlock hanging off or an inset lock, this one seems to have if you're looking at this properly, a spot where a gear is supposed to fit in and move multiple gears. So there's actually two separate gears on either side and a hole in the center, and you can see the gear teeth
Have I ever
exposed.
seen anything like this before?
You have. They're kind of a bitch because you don't know the timing of the gears. And judging from this one, it's an odd-shaped one where the teeth are actually of different sizes on the two sides, but there's only one spindle.
Weird. Okay, well I'm gonna try to unlock it.
Okay. I'll throw disadvantage because you don't have the necessary implements. 16. Okay. Holding onto one of the, holding your tools just so and managing to pull the levers and fuck with them for a brief second. Eventually they tick into place. You start to figure out the pattern and slowly tick, 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 tick. You get the gears to revolve, and after a moment, ka-chunk, you watch as two pieces of metal slide apart, revealing, opening the latch upon the chest lid.
So what's inside?
As you open it, it creaks slowly, and you see inside a book, several decanters, as well as bottles of wine, another chunk of that ice,
I'm still hauling the ice with me.
and a sack this time open, sitting open with gold coins within it.
Alright, so we have how many wine bottles?
There's four of them.
What type of wine?
From what you can tell, red.
Or red wine.
Oh, sorry, no, white. What am I saying? White wine.